What is your favorite Stranger Things moment? Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everybody, to another video. Today we are going to be ranking my top 10 favorite Stranger Things moments. This is a video I've been having planned for a little while. I did end up getting sick, but I'm feeling a lot better now, ready to go. So right before we dive in, if you are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, letting me know that you enjoy the content that we put out here. And if you want to also leave your own list down in the comments below, letting me know your favorite Stranger Things moments, I would love to see those as well. With that being said, let's get into the video. Coming in at number 10, I have Bob's death. I often say that season 2 is one of the most overlooked seasons in the whole franchise. I love season 2. Season 2 introduces us to Bob and Billy and Max, but most importantly, Bob. And when we finally get to see him, that act of heroism from him in using his technology ideals to help out the group, but ends up sacrificing himself. Actually, not really. He just, he thinks he's escaped, but then they get him anyway. And that's something that was really tough for me to deal with because Bob was easily one of my favorite characters in the show. But, I guess all things must happen because in order for Hopper and Joyce to have been together, Bob needed to be out of the equation, so it's very bittersweet. Coming in at number 9, I have Hopper's letter to Eleven. When we all thought that Hopper was dead and that Eleven had gotten this letter from him, now, personally, I did not think Hopper was dead, but, to each their own. It's still a very meaningful letter, and a lot of the things that are said in it just make me tear up instantly of just their very brief time together and their, like father-daughter relationship, the daughter that he had lost and, father that she really never had.
I left some Eggos out in the woods and you came into my life, and for the first time in a long time, I started to feel things again.
And it's just a very sweet way to end that season. And for that reason, I had to put it on this list. Coming in at number 8, I have Dustin's duet with Susie. This is one of those moments that is so Stranger Things and that almost, I guarantee, no other TV show or movie would have done. But it perfectly fits this group of friends. Just casually while they're getting chased by the Mind Flayer, Dustin and Susie break out in duet so that he can have Planck's constant. Okay, sure, why not? And what's funny? This song is considered like one of the best songs in the whole series. So, kudos to them. Coming in at number 7, I have Billy's sacrifice. So I had made a video about my top 10 favorite TV show moments, and I had 2 on this list. Now these kind of have changed around since then, as does a lot of my list. But at number 7, I have Billy's sacrifice, and it is just one of the best moments in the whole show. Not just Billy's sacrifice, but with that whole scene comes the letting go of Hopper as well, and Joyce turning the keys. But Billy has the spotlight here, and he finally lets that monster know that took over him that it no longer has power over him, and that he is going to die as himself. And his final act of heroism is to stand in front of that monster, and not only to protect his sister, but to protect her friends as well. And it's such a character moment, as you would say, for Billy, and I really like that. Coming in at number 6, I have the Will remembering scene. So what I'm talking about here is at the end of season 2, they're trying to help Will. He has to use the Morse code on his knee to communicate with them, and they're sharing all these different memories with Will that he did. You have Mike, Jonathan, all these crazy emotional stories with Will as he's sitting in the chair. They have to disguise the house so he doesn't know where he is. And it's honestly really emotional, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. Coming in at number 5, I have the opening scene of the show where they're all playing D&D. Every time I think of this scene, and this could possibly even be a little bit higher up on my list, it just gives me goosebumps from how the show started. in season 1 as this very simple show about another dimension in a small town in the 80s. And it's very, like, the music is like, do, 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 and they're like riding their bikes and just being 80s kids. And then to see how it all unfolds from there. But seeing, like, my favorite thing is seeing how all, like, how normal they all were and how all these things were before the idea of the upside down or even a demogorgon. It's just very, it's something you can always go back to, is just how I would put it. Coming in at number 4, I have the snowball dance from the end of season 2 when Lucas and Max finally get together for the first time, and you have everyone else, you know, just dancing around, being middle schoolers, you know, having your first dance with a girl. You see that Dustin doesn't, and you know, the whole Nancy thing is pretty sweet, but I just love that scene in general after everything that they've been through the loss of Bob, what Steve's been through with, you know, really loving Nancy and he can't be with her, and all of those different things, and you get to see Jonathan and Nancy. It all just really works for me, and it also blends the show really well from going with action and horror to, like, remembering that it's still an 80s show about middle school kids. And that's something that I just really appreciated that the series did. Coming in my top 3, I have the Vecna showdown from season 4. This is the moment in the show where, you know, they've pretty much broken into the Creel house and Nancy has the shotgun, and alongside playing with that is Hopper back in the prison with the sword about to slay the Demogorgon. And the way that these two scenes kind of align, where she's just like shooting the fire ammo at him, and then Hopper has this final moment of, you know, just like, yeah, and I'll probably play it on the screen here when he just like cuts the Demogorgon's head off. It's such a sweet moment and like way to like breathe after so much anticipation and, you know, trouble circumstances in season 4, that they finally are able to do something. Unfortunately, it does not last long though, as Vecna does get his final person to be able to create that gateway. But as my runner-up, no pun intended, I have Running Up That Road. I believe in my TV show ranking, I actually had this as my favorite Stranger Things moment, but I actually do have one above this now. And this is just purely because Max is one of my favorite characters easily, and to see not only how she feels about her friends, but how they feel about her, it's such a kind of classic Stranger Things moment where she's, you know, revisiting those moments of she was this girl who was bullied by her brother and who missed all her friends, and her parents had split up, and all of these things, right? She didn't quite feel comfortable yet in Hawkins. And when she met these friends, they did that for her. They gave her a sense of belonging and almost family. She does not want to lose them, and remembering them through the, you know, the moment before she's almost dead, being able to save herself is just, I love it. And the way that whole scene plays out is just one of my favorites in the whole series. But easily coming in at number 1 for me is the Eddie guitar scene in season 4. When they need a distraction in front of the Creel house, it is probably the most Stranger Things thing on this list for me. You get Eddie Munson hops on top of his house or his trailer and just continues or just starts to play his guitar. The way that whole scene plays out with Dustin there, and he's like, yeah, da-da-da, you know, Master of Puppets style. Every time I watch that scene, I can't look away. It's so much fun. The characters are having so much fun doing it. It's a great way to add the element of, this is Stranger Things, but we also need a distraction. What other show has a guy playing a guitar in an alternate universe as a distraction to some henchmen, aka the Demobats, to get inside of a house? That's a pretty crazy idea for a plot device. And if you ask me, it's one of the best, it is the best scene in Stranger Things, because it's only something that could happen in Stranger Things. They couldn't do it in another show. They don't have the setup. It works here. It works so well here. And I cannot talk enough good about that scene. There you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 favorite Stranger Things moments. Did you love my list? Did you hate my list? I'd love to know all of that stuff down in the comments below. And of course, again, please let me know what your favorite Stranger Things moments are. Seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. And of course, I'll probably make an updated list in like a year or two when Stranger Things 5 does come out, the final season, you know, as well as making more updated Stranger Things videos, as again, it is my favorite TV show, and as long as far as I know, it will always be that way. So, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, everybody.